Hi guys, so I just wanted to come on right quick and just share my thoughts on a couple different things. They're all kind of related, and it's kind of cool how they all kind of came about. So, like, recently I got a mentor, and I haven't really had like a mentor before. Like, I have had, like academic advisors or whatever, but like not actual a mentor like for my personal life or anything like that. So, I recently got a mentor, and it's kind of interesting how that whole thing came about. So, it was a couple months. It was like the end of September, I believe. I went to like a church event, and basically it was like a women's night, and it was called mentoring. Like it was like a mentoring night from women, and basically what it was three older ladies, and they basically gave like 10 tips on something. I don't know, being a woman. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was 10 tips. Everybody gave 10 tips, right? And so while I was there, I heard the voice of God say, you need to go to this conference. So the church that I was at, they were also having a women's conference. And I'm not really big on women's conferences. I just, I don't know, I'm just not really big on those. Like, I don't really go to them that often, or actually, I only been to like maybe one other before that one. So it's not something like I, go to a lot. And so God was saying, hey, you need to go to this conference that they kept talking about. I was like, okay, sure, whatever, cool. And so that was probably the end of September, and the conference was in November. So like that night, I bought my ticket, and so about October, the end of October, that same church had like a demo night, but basically where they demonstrated the power of God. So what would happen was they would have someone tell a testimony, and like the testimony might be on like one person had like back surgery, and then they got healed really quickly from the back surgeries, because like usually it takes a really long time to heal from that, especially when your spinal cord is involved. But like the person was healed like by the end of the week. They could go home, walk, everything was cool. And so after they did the testimony, basically you kind of see how God moves for someone else, then it activates your faith. And so if you're dealing with a similar issue, then your faith has been activated, so that in that moment you can receive healing as well. It's really cool. It's like the first time I've ever been to that type of event. The first time I've really like seen the actual like, this is what we're going to, we're like here to heal people, to see the power of God. And like it was the first time I've ever seen it. Super awesome, right? So like people were getting healed everywhere. It was super cool. At the end of the night, they basically was like, okay, grab your neighbor's hand and pray for them. But it was like, like those going like you're about to go back on the road type prayers, goodbye prayer, whatever, like. So like, it was only one person in my room, so I grabbed his hand and then started praying for him or whatever. And like then this lady came up and prayed for both of us. And then she said to me, she basically gave me a word from God about just basically saying that I was like within his will and that kind of stuff. So it was like a really awesome moment. Okay, so then that was it. That was the end of October. So then November came, me and my friend, we went to the conference, the women's conference. And it was like the second half of the day, I believe it was. It wasn't at the beginning, it was definitely like the second half. We were walking into the next session, and basically the same lady who prayed for me at the demo night, she was like, at the door greeting people, welcoming them in and everything. And she saw me, she was like, hey, I remember you from the demo night. I was like, hey, yeah, I remember you. And so then that was it, because, I'm awkward. So I just went and sat down, because I was like, all right, that was the end of that conversation. But then I was sitting there, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should, like, connect with her or something. Maybe I should, like, find her on Facebook or something like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And like I know we had like a couple of mutual friends or whatever. So I was like, it'd be probably easy for me to find her on Facebook. And so then that was the last I thought about that. And so then like one of the next sessions of the conference was just on mentoring and mothering. Like, so that was the topic. And the lady talked about, mentoring and, that kind of stuff. But like as soon as she started talking, like as soon as they really introduced her, God was like, you need to ask that lady to be your mentor. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about that one. Like this lady's a stranger, and stranger danger is real. I don't just like asking random people stuff like that. And like to ask somebody to be your mentor, especially when you don't know them, like that's a big ask, at least in my personal opinion. Like I felt like that was a lot. So I literally sat through that lady's entire thing about her whole like talk or whatever, like going back and forth whether or not I was going to do it. And I was like, okay. It's like I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do it. All right, okay. Like I convinced myself I was gonna do it, but then I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I was like, oh, this is just too much, like this is crazy. But I was like, maybe I didn't even like, it's funny because, like, for me, God will tell me something, and then if I sit on it too long, like if I don't do it immediately, I will start, like, those voices will start to come and doubt, like, oh, well, maybe God didn't really say that, or maybe that was just you talking, or maybe, and like, no, that's just the enemy trying to get you not to do what God wants you to do. And in that moment, I really needed to force myself to be obedient to God. So what happened was, at the end of the session, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, and I was like, okay, if I see her on the way out, I'm going to just ask her or talk to her or whatever. But I didn't see her. So I was like, okay, well, I'm off the hook. Because that's how I feel. Like, I was like, oh, I made an attempt. Like, that's why I decided if I don't see her on the way out, then I don't have to ask her. And so then my friend, she was there, and she saw some lady that she, like, knew or whatever. And so she wanted to stop and talk to her or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So she asked, like, if we could, like, wait to talk to her. And I was like, okay. And so we were just sitting outside waiting. I was like, okay, guys, if I see her on the way up, like, if I see her walk past me, like, I'll go ask. And I just stood there for a little minute. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go and do it because, I'm just out here and being disobedient or whatever. And so then I went inside. I was like, okay, God, if I see her sitting down, I'll go ask and talk to her. And of course, she was just sitting there just as nice, just sitting there. And so then I went up there and, like, I didn't ask her to be my mentor because that was just too much. I was like, you know what? I feel like God wants us to connect. And so then she was like, oh, yeah, cool. And, like, she was so nice. And, like, just like that, she was like, she took my phone number down and whatever. And then, like, the next week, we ended up meeting up and talking, like, over dinner. And so we've been kind of in communication probably since then. And it was kind of cool because she was still trying to figure out, what exactly, like, God had intended for the relationship or whatever. And so, like, this was Friday. So yesterday, she had texted me. She was like, oh, I was praying for you. And, like, I heard God say identity. And so she was like, because we had already figured out that whatever the reason for us to connect was to help me with whatever's happening in my next season or whatever. And so she was like, maybe, like, we should really focus on, like, identity. But when she said that, it wasn't like I was like, no, like, no, that ain't it. But it wasn't like oh yeah, that's it. Like, it just, like, it wasn't like I didn't really have any response. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, and one of the things when you have, like, a mentor, I guess you just gotta be open with that kind of stuff because maybe they know something that you don't know, because I wasn't praying for me that day, clearly, because then I might have her identity too. So anyways, so she said that, and at first I was like, okay. And so, but at first I was thinking of it in the sense of there were a lot of, like, titles. So, like, titles or positions or offices. That's how I was kind of thinking of as identity. So, like, child of God, sister, daughter, an extension agent, that's literally my job, like, administrator, those type of things. So that's when she said identity. That's where my mind first went to. But then last night I was reading, I'll show you guys. I got this book. It's called March, and it's by Dr. Faith. And I was reading, right? And so it's funny because I literally have not picked up this book in months. And I was reading. I just started back reading again. And on the part I'm on, it's just like soul be made whole. So talking about, like, inner healing and all that kind of stuff. But then the part I was on, like I read last night, it was just talking about, it basically says become aware of your weaknesses and celebrate your strengths. But one of the points that they said that is, if you struggle with identity, she says, if you struggle with your identity with if you struggle with your identity with accepting yourself, you will feel like any form of imperfection means you're less than. And so, like, one of the notes that I kind of wrote down was, you should strive for better, not perfection. And so the thing is, it's like where I am in life currently, like, I'm 28, I'm single, basically it's all this, like, I wouldn't necessarily say pressure because, like, I don't really be studying it like that, but, like, basically people will be telling me, oh, you need to prepare for marriage or something like that, like, you need to be preparing. I'm like, what does that even really mean? It's like, my thing is, like, okay, I can cook, I can clean, like, does that mean I'm ready to get married? No, but I mean, being a functioning adult is something I should probably work on. I should be able to live on my own, And so, like, some of the skills people, like, say that, oh, that's what you need to work on to get married. It's like, no, those are just skills you should have, because, you're an adult. You should be able to do certain things after a while. And so, like, but also in the same way, though, it's like sometimes they'll keep telling you, oh, you need to work on this, and work on this. And they make you feel like, oh, you have to be perfect in like everything before you get married. And the thing is like, well, you ain't gonna ever reach perfection. So then why are you even worried about that? You know, like, of course you want to, like, if you have any like character flaws, you definitely want to, you know, work on those things. But even still, it's like, there are things that, you know, just your goal should be to be better, not to be perfect. I'm horrible at directions. I zone out when I walk. I zone out when I drive. If I'm in the car with somebody, I'm definitely zoned out then. I zone out when I drive myself. So I'm definitely zoned out when you driving. And so like people be like, oh my God, you don't know where you're going. How long you been in Greensboro? Like, okay, I've been here since '09. I don't know where to go. I still don't. I'm gonna use my GPS. I know how to get to Target. I know how to get to my job. I know how to get to my church. And I know how to get to the gym. Like, what more do I need to know? Like, honestly. So anyways, and like, that's not something I need to work on. Like, that is a weakness I have, that we will be okay. The world will not stop just because the lion don't know how to get down the street, you know? So there's some things it's like, okay, maybe you could be better in, but like, I ain't gotta be perfect in these things, and it's perfectly fine, you know? And so that's one of the things I was just kind of thinking about. But just going back to the whole identity thing, one of the things I feel like we're going to really work on is not necessarily like, oh, let's discover like your purpose or like those titles or whatever like that, but really going more into like, okay, recognizing, okay, this is who you are, but these are some things that might not actually be. Like, one thing I used to really struggle with was with anxiety. Like, I used to have really bad anxiety. And so like, I'll be like, I used to say things like, oh, I can't do that because that's going to give me anxiety. Like, it'll be something like, oh, I don't know. One thing I used to do a lot was like rehearse what I was going to say before I said it. Like, if we're in a group or talking to people or whatever. And so like people like, oh my God, you're so quiet. No, I'm not that quiet. I just, you know, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to say and make it sound right. And then by the time I got it, y'all had already moved on to the next thing, which is so selfish for you guys. You should have waited for me, honestly, as if you knew that was going on. But like, there's things I would do because I had anxiety. But like, I was going somewhere with that. Oh yeah. So like, and because I had anxiety, and that's something I had for a really long time, it was hard for me to recognize what like traits were actually that's what lying is, or what traits were that's because you have anxiety. So like, some things would be like, oh, you're really shy. Like, people will still say like, oh, you're so shy, but like, I'm not really. And like, only time I was really shy was because I had anxiety. Like, that was the only thing. Is like, dude, literally see me with my friends, you see a whole completely different side. And like, and so I feel like that's one of the areas we're going to really work on, because I feel like when it comes to like inner healing or deliverance, so like, I was delivered from anxiety. Once you go through deliverance, you have to kind of then go through inner healing afterwards, just to make sure like you change your pattern of thought, so that like, there were still things that I would do from the time when I had anxiety that I was still doing post, you know, deliverance from anxiety. And it literally took me to say, wait, no, I don't have anxiety. So when I would usually say like, oh, I can't do that because I have anxiety, it's like, oh, wait, no, I'm all right. I don't have anxiety. So stop claiming it. So, you know, those things like that, just trying to like changing the way you think about things. I feel like it's an area we're going to really work on. So I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, if you can get a mentor, you should probably get one. Like, they're cool. From like the 2 months that I've had one, I recommend it. But also though, it's kind of funny because the same time that I got a mentor, I got a mentee as well. And so it's kind of cool because like, someone's pouring to me, and then I'm then pouring into someone else. And it's kind of crazy, low key though, because like, literally one of the main things that I knew from jump that I was going to help that person with was like purpose and identity. Just to find out that it's literally the same stuff that my mentor is going to help me with. Crazy how all that stuff works out, right? Crazy. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I got for y'all right now. So yeah, but so yeah, get a mentor, go find you somebody to pour into, and yeah. Oh yeah, so last Thursday I had my first mini course. That was super cool. You can watch the recording or whatever, child. It was a low-key struggle because like, I couldn't figure out how to work it, but yeah, we got through it and we got some good information. Next week I'm doing one. Oh, I dropped my pen. We're doing one on like goal setting for the new year, so that's gonna be really exciting as well. So if you can, you can catch me next Thursday, 7:30. I'm gonna go live. So yeah, that's it. Happy Saturday.